good, Foundation Nation? We're back in Lynchburg College Field busting some of your biggest disc golf myths. A little while ago, we asked you over on Twitter, which if you're not following us, what are you doing? You're missing out on opportunities to be in videos like this one right here. We asked you over on Twitter, what are some of the biggest disc golf myths that you hear so we could put them to the test and see, is there any validity to them? So myth number one that we're gonna be breaking out today, one that I think we all know is coming, which was submitted from Papa Wolf, and he said that flight numbers matter.
Ooh, I will go and share my opinion on this.
No opinions, we're here for science.
My opinion was that I only care about the science behind it.
Good. I've grabbed 4 different discs from 4 different companies that have as similar flight numbers as possible. We'll start it off with the Rally here from Finish Line. This is an 8.5 -1-1. We have the River from Latitude 64, which is a 7.7 -1-1. We have the Cicada from Discraft, which is a 7.6 -1-1. And then we have the Leopard 3 from Innova, which is a 7.5 -2-1. So in theory, all should be pretty similar. The Leopard 3 should be slightly less stable than the rest of them. What we're gonna do is we're simply just going to throw it in this field, down and back a few times, and see, are the flight numbers accurate, and do all these discs fly exactly the same as you would expect at home? We're gonna kick it off with the Cicada for this first myth, but I must say, the last myth we're testing in this video is probably the most common disc golf myth of all time, so be sure you stick around till then. We'll see what the Cicada does here first. I'm gonna try to throw them flat, more or less.
That's a nice flying disc. Unrelated to the myth, that's just a nice flying disc.
Here's what I'll say. That was probably the most true -1-1 flight I've ever seen in my life. So that's a good start. Next, we're gonna go with the Leopard. Again, this is the one that's the most unlike the rest of them because it's a -2-1 instead of a -1-1. So this should be a little more turn before it fades back. We'll try to throw a similar line though. Hold it a little bit. Definitely less stable.
Yeah.
No sign of coming back. The River here offers basically the same flight numbers as that first Cicada with 1 more glide.
Pretty similar.
Pretty similar.
Now it
almost landed on top of each other.
It didn't go further, so was the 1 more tick of glide a lie?
And last but not least, the Finish Line Rally. Again, same exact flight numbers as the 2 we just threw basically, but 1 speed faster. Felt a little more overstable, but we're gonna have to throw a few more times, get a true test here.
Now, if you'll notice here, the Cicada landed here, and the River landed here. I would say that's exactly 1 number of glide further. So maybe they're dead on accurate, Hunter.
Could not agree more, Mr. Con. Throwing back this way, I'm gonna throw them all on hyzer and see which ones will flip up the most. All right, Cicada first. Now that's interesting.
Wow. I don't feel like that did that last time.
It did not. Okay. River next. Definitely more stable.
Yeah. That was a pretty similar line.
Rally next. They've gotten progressively more overstable, I think.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, the Leopard. So I think that's the evidence that we need to confirm, I think, what most of us have already believed in life, that are flight numbers true, or I guess myth is...
Are they consistent?
Goodness.
Flight numbers matter, myth busted. I think they matter to a certain extent, but if you're trying to get the nitty gritty of you know exactly when you buy a 7.7 -1-1 that it's gonna fly like another 7.6 -1-1 or a 8.5 -1-1, it's just not going to. You'll be kind of in the same ballpark. They all flipped up.
I mean, if I lost my Rally out on the course and I went into a shop and I was just looking at the flight numbers and I walked out with that Leopard 3, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, well, even the Rally to the Cicada,
yeah,
which in your head is exact same flight numbers, just 1 speed off, it just wouldn't be the same disc.
No.
It wouldn't be the same disc. So flight numbers busted. Moving on to the next myth. This next myth was submitted from Disc Golfer Dad, which is one that I've heard a lot, that you should always throw max weight.
I feel like this is like a big pro thing. Like
this was. So to test it, what I did is I went to our store and I got as close to identical discs as I could. So these are both Z forces, but this one's Z light, weighing in at 166 grams. This is Z, weighing at 174. And then we also have nearly identical dome levels and everything like that. A Z crank coming in at 174 and a Z light crank coming in at 155. So we're just gonna throw them out here and we're gonna see what's the pros, cons, how do they fly different? Do they fly different? Are you avoiding lightweight for no reason? Who knows? Let's find out. We're gonna start off with the max weight Z force, a little bit of dome on it. I'm gonna attempt to throw it hunter flat, which is a slight hyzer. Okay, about what you would expect out of a Z force. Let's see if the Z light force brings anything else to the table.
Pretty darn similar.
Maybe a hair more flip up, but nothing that I would look at and be like, holy cow, that's a completely different disc. If they were both in my bag, they would be covering the exact same slot. Okay, now the crank, I'll throw the max weight crank first here. Came out low. Got up to flat though, so it definitely has some flip to her. Let's see the Z light crank again. This is the one that's 155, so really drastic difference. Definitely flippy.
You threw them both the same.
I threw them both low and both on hyzer. Again, more testing going on, but let's see what else we got.
Okay, I'll throw the max weight force first. I'm gonna go just a touch of hyzer because it's what I'm more comfortable with, so I feel like I'll be able to throw them more similarly. Okay. Well, I know that stayed on hyzer the whole time for me. So let's see about the Z light one. Yeah, and that definitely felt like it had more glide to it. Max weight crank. Okay. Now Z light crank. Yeah, so definitely a big difference on those ones. I feel like the lighter ones consistently had a little more flip up, but also a more noticeable amount of glide to them as well.
I would agree. Now, could the flip up be attributing to the glide? Like,
Yeah.
is it because it's fighting the hyzer, it makes it look glidier? But no, I definitely agree with that. I feel like both of them have comparable enough flights that you can kind of tell they're the same disc. It's almost like the lightweight version is flying like a beat-in version of the max weight one.
Yeah, for sure.
Is what it kind of feels like. I want to try to just like get into it.
Yeah.
Like try to throw as hard as I can and just see, is there a distance difference between the two? And like if I do hit it hard, is the lightweight unthrowable? I'm gonna just try to just throw them as hard as I can, flat, try to get some turn out of them. Goal here is just as much distance as I possibly can get into a disc. Well, I feel like people who stray away from light discs, I feel like a lot of times it's because you think that when you get to the 150 or 160, it becomes unthrowable. Is that true? That's what I want this test to be. Is like, I'm going to throw it as hard as I can, and we'll see if that makes these discs unthrowable. That's the max weight Z-force, which is about what you would expect out of a max weight Z-force.
Yeah.
Overstable. Now we'll do the Z-light. Completely different flight. I was kind of crushed, I think.
But still was it was in no way flippy. That was still a proper force, I felt like. Just maybe, again, like what you said, it felt like a beat up force.
Honestly, that flew like a Zeus, but yeah,
Okay.
a similar vibe. This is the stock crank, max weight. Good. Z-light crank. Of all of this we have out here, this is the one that has the most risk of being unthrowable.
Bomber.
Definitely flippier. A little more nose up, still easy to get all the way over, but we'll measure the four of them, see if there's any data, and then respond, is this myth busted? We're at 380 with this force. We're gonna move over to the Z-light force next. 405, so 25 feet farther for the Z-light force. The two cranks are over here. They look pretty comparable in distance, so we're gonna get the distance of these two and then we'll give you our final assessment. 398. Z-light crank, 410. It seems like when you have a disc that you can already flip, like the crank, the stock crank, I can already get the turn. Going to a lighter weight version doesn't really provide me with too much benefit. It's easier to turn. If I was like trying to pick a roller disc out of the two of them, I could lean towards the crank because it'd be easier to get down. But it is easier to get this to flip. So if I'm throwing in a tailwind, something like that. But where I think the big key comes in with lightweight is this Z-force, I'm not gonna get to flip. I might get to like push a little bit, but a max weight Z-force is not gonna flip. I can get this one to flip, the Z-Light. So what that allows is I could bag forces and off the shelf have an overstable one and a somewhat flippy one right away. So can we fully bust the myth that you should throw max weight? I don't think so, because it depends on what you want out of your disc golf. If you're looking for consistent, reliable, you don't have to worry about it and when, you want a disc to fly and not flip, you want a disc to fly probably as true to the flight numbers for you as it can, I would say max weight might be for you. But if you love a disc and it's just you wish you could take the edge off of it a little bit, or you're looking for a little more distance out of your favorite distance driver, and like I said, it's a case like a force where you can't get it to turn already, or you're close to getting it to turn, then go with the Z-Light version. Another great option is if you're like me, where I can't throw a forehand far to save my life. A great option would be if I have the crank as my go-to max distance driver, I can go with a Z-Light crank to get a lot more forehand flight that'll be similar to what I can get out of it with a backhand. So it depends on what you want out of a disc. I wouldn't back away from a Z-Light disc or any type of lightweight disc just because it's lightweight. You might be missing out on one of the greatest flying discs you'll ever throw. Whoa, I changed clothes. We're now in the warehouse too. This myth that we're testing is using the tech disc. The myth that we're putting to the test is that forehands generate more spin. Is that true? Let's find out. So how we're gonna test this myth is essentially I'm going to throw a forehand, and I'll probably throw a few forehands just so we get a baseline of the speed and the spin, and then we'll try to mimic the backhand speed and spin, and then we'll have Konner do the same so that we have two people throwing our normal backhands. We're not gonna try to like crank a wrist, because you obviously can generate more spin on a backhand just because you can get a disc like that more than you only have to here. But if we're just throwing a normal backhand, normal forehand, match the exact same speed, which one has more spin? That's what we're here to find out. So I'm gonna throw one like approach-ish speed, and then one like hard for me. It'll probably look like an approach speed to you, but it'll be hard for me. All right, let's let the data transfer to the TV over here. 46 mile an hour, 721 RPM.
That was a little more than an approach speed there, Hunt.
I have a massive forehand. Have you never noticed? Have you not watched the channel?
Man, look at it. It's forehand.
Huge forehand. I'm surprised you even got to the door with that forehand.
Now we're gonna go drive with a forehand here. Okay,
Faster.
56 mile an hour, 750 RPM. So not much more RPM, which is, I honestly kind of expected that, because I feel like if I'm throwing an approach shot, I can really like get my wrist into it. Is how I naturally throw approach shots, whereas a drive, I'm not like snapping my wrist at the end as much. So 30 more RPM, 56 miles an hour.
That's already interesting that you did throw it like considerably faster, but it didn't have much more spin, which I feel like we might start to see that no matter how hard you throw your forehand, you're not getting much more spin because you just don't have that like.
That could be true. We're gonna go backhand now. We're gonna try to hit 46 miles an hour. This is gonna take probably a few tries. We're just gonna try to get within the 40-some, mid-40s realm. Imagine I hit this first time, first try. You know, that felt kind of close.
That did feel close.
I like the feel of that.
Oh, Hunter!
Are you kidding me? Okay, but look at the RPMs here.
Oh, yeah.
So 46.8, 940 RPMs, and that felt like I just kind of like threw the disc out there. I didn't feel like I really snapped it or spun it. It
That was
lit.
incredible.
940 RPMs. Okay, now the 56 is gonna be tough because that's like not full power, but it's gonna be close. My full power.
You're trying to flip over your Casey Rock right now. That's
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to like just smooth one and just try to get 56. I like that feel.
I didn't mind that.
58.
You're pretty good at this.
I'm kind of dialed in right now. Okay, I feel like those are both. That's a good test.
The
So
RPMs are much higher.
58.
Much higher.
RPM on the backhand, 1184. Also look at the amount it goes up the harder you throw a backhand. Well, actually, I'm gonna do one more test where I just throw it really spinny backhand, really spinny forehand. We'll see what happens there. I felt like that was a decent bit of spin.
Yeah, that was
okay.
Beyblade-y.
57 miles an hour, almost 1300 RPMs there. So yeah, so that was me just trying to spin it more. Now we're just going to try to spin a forehand as much as possible.
Whoa.
Gotcha. Wait though, 726. I think that might have been less than before. Okay, so my theory didn't.
You didn't follow through.
Well, because
You didn't with the
felt like
snake
I
strike.
Whip it.
I felt like I was just like,
Whenever I think in my head, like trying to spin a forehand as hard as I can, I don't
that just
understand.
like it felt like a little like, woo, get out there. Well, that didn't work, so I gotta actually just. I'm gonna do like the Ricky, like crank this thing.
Yeah.
I I don't know what that felt like.
It was higher.
Mid to upper 700s is as fast as I can get. I got a backhand to 1277. So pretty conclusive for me, but we'll see if that's just me. Con's turn.
Yeah, I do have a notorious amount, or should I say lack of spin on my backhand. Usually whenever I throw, Brody and Hunter say, spin it more. And I say, I don't know how to do that. So I'm just
do it.
I'm just doing a normal throw. Forehand first.
All right, 652, 47 mile an hour.
Okay, all right, now I'm gonna try to match that with my backhand. All right. Kind of similar.
Well, Connor, 0.1 off.
Whoa.
You're within
Connor, you're goated.
Wow! Hold it. That's not the point of this video, but are we crazy at this or what?
We're awesome.
Comment down below. Okay, well.
I don't know if that makes you better at disc golf in any way.
I don't think it does, judging by, if you saw our latest course conquest video where Connor and I went out, you know this doesn't translate to skill.
Well, that was, we did that ironically.
Yeah,
We're
that's
just kidding.
true. We just wanted to make sure we didn't break it while Trevor was here.
Yeah.
Wasn't here.
So what's the
but
spin difference?
883, that's an increase of 230. So let's go like a power forehand now.
Power forehand. I feel like the harder I throw a forehand, the less spin I'm gonna get.
See, I feel the same way. My numbers didn't show that, but it showed similar. That looked kind of spinny. I like the look of that. 56, 744. So yeah, honestly, almost identical numbers, me and you.
Oh, okay.
57 mile an hour
Okay.
backhand. This is just your normal backhand. 57 miles an hour is the goal. I like the look of that,
Yeah, that
Connor.
was pretty good.
52.
Oh.
Okay, but it shows what we need to see.
Yeah, the
52,
spin is
so
higher.
technically slower, 4 miles an hour slower, but if you look at the RPM, it's 995, which is 200 and some higher. So the
Conclusive.
faster a forehand gets, it doesn't have more spin, which I think is what leads to people being able to throw a forehand really fast and getting discs to flip. Whereas the backer a backhand gets, the RPMs also increase. I feel like this is very conclusive. So, do forehands generate more spin? No. Myth busted.
Myth busted. Science.
This next myth I've actually heard in multiple different facets, but it all roots in the same thing, which is if you're a new player, the disc speed doesn't affect the distance a disc is going to travel. To test this myth, I think the easiest way to do so is for us just to go lefty, because that basically makes us a brand new disc golfer, where it just removes all coordination and thought on how a disc should be thrown. And we're just gonna throw some putters, some mids, and then some distance drivers, and just see what the data says.
I think, should we add into this new player or noodle arm? Because to be honest, we could probably just have me throw a regular backhand to test it out as well.
No, can you throw over 300 feet?
Yeah.
You're not a new player. 300 feet's a huge milestone. You have to remember that.
I'm huge.
You're massive. So I'm gonna throw 3 putters, then I'll go to 3 mids, and then 3 fairway/distance drivers, and we'll have Connor do the same, assuming
All
he has...
lefty?
All lefty. Just so we get a gauge of like, do they progressively get farther? My hypothesis is yes, but with the sacrifice of control. I'm gonna go obviously flippier in every category I can, and I think that the faster the disc will probably make it go farther, but you'll have less control because it'll make it fade more, which doesn't mean it's necessarily better for a new player, but I do think the disc speed affects how far a disc goes. But that's why we're out here, test our thoughts. So, putters first.
Immediately, you're
Just immediately I'm a new player. I immediately just have no idea what to do with my hands. Yeah, I mean, that's the most new player throw you've ever seen. Nose up, not a lot of spin, hyzering. All right, now we're gonna run up. That's why we're throwing multiple. About as good as I got lefty.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna throw a shaman here. I'm gonna do run up on all of them.
Golf shot. So early releases translate hand to hand.
Yeah, they really do. That hurts so bad. He's in power though. Flip up. Got some flip up on it.
Oh, Connor.
Whoa.
Wow.
I'm getting this shocking feeling through my arm.
You're not good. Keep going.
Yeah.
You are a pretty filthy lefty.
I'm kind of a dirty lefty.
You're
I'm
kind of a
learning.
dirty lefty. I'm gonna go 1 standstill, 2 run up. I have an M4, MD3, and a fuse, so all should be relatively flippy. Farther.
That is further. Oh.
Good. It went about a little farther than the turf one too. This is great. I'm doing very accurate.
Exact
here.
same thing. as
Exact
your
same
putters.
thing. I've never felt less coordinated in my life. Okay, but that's why we're out here. Science.
You never looked less coordinated either.
I only have rocks for my mid ranges. I literally have just 3 rocks. That's it.
Connor, you are good.
It really hurts my hand. Like it feels like I'm being tased on my arm.
You got that flex line dial.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, little hyzer flip.
I was trying to go hyzer on that one.
That's just what you need to feel. You need to feel the taser.
Than I thought I did.
Now a distance driver, I have a Zeus, a Destroyer, and a Strike, all 12 speed. Something that you would always tell beginners, don't do. I'm going to do.
Ooh, that was your best one yet, Hunter. That had snap on it.
It felt like it had a little snap. I mean, I just feel like a baby giraffe learning to walk for the first time.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm starting to feel comfortable. That's dangerous.
You're starting to look comfortable out there. You're
All right,
crushing.
that's a bomb.
That was crushed.
Dang, I really wanted to get a good one out there.
I feel like you got some good ones.
That really hurts.
All right, we're gonna put my bag here. Results time. Ladies and gentlemen, the results are in. We did this as scientific as we could, and the results are very conclusive. My putter average distance was 106 feet, my mid average distance was 117 feet, and my driver average distance was 154 feet. For Konner, his putter average distance was 159 feet, his mid was 201, and his driver was 216.
I don't know what I just learned about my game, but my brain is different now.
You're ambidextrous.
I'm just not sure how.
Okay, his brain has been changed, as maybe yours at home, because drivers do go far.
I wasn't expecting that. I was genuinely expecting all of ours to, like, I was even expecting maybe the drivers wouldn't go as far.
That's what
for throwing lefty.
people were saying, that they thought that basically mids and putters would glide more than the driver if you can't
Yeah.
get the spin up. So therefore the driver would dump out earlier, not being able to go as far. Now, I still think the recommendation's the same. I think if
Yeah.
you're a beginner, still throw mids and putters because of the control aspect.
Mhm.
It's easier to know where it's going to go. But the faster discs will go farther. It's science.
Facts, as the kids say.
The next myth we're going to be putting to the test is that you must throw forehand hyzer flips if you want forehand distance. Basically, the premise here is that a forehand anti-flex just won't go as far as a forehand hyzer flip, and that you must throw forehand hyzer flips to get distance. Is that true? I don't know. Why not have two people who aren't great at forehands tell you? We're not gonna be great at this hyzer flip forehand game, so we'll throw until we get one that we're like, that's a good one. And then we'll see, can we get a anti-flex farther? I have two categories here because I don't have many distance drivers I can hyzer flip, so I have a fairway driver that I'll only compare fairway drivers to, and then a distance driver I'll only compare distance drivers to. Objective number one, just get one out there. I'm gonna try with an it first. If I can't hyzer flip an it with a forehand, then we might be hopeless.
You definitely hyzer flip. Well, yeah.
Rolled it. Like I said, we gotta get a good one. Lift it up.
Oh, stupid net.
Stupid net.
Oh, it went through.
Went through it.
What?
Oh! No.
Dang it.
It's a hyzer.
Strikes over stable. I just don't have flippy
Really
distance
good
drivers.
forehand.
Yes. Now come out of it. Yes,
Yeah,
Connor. All right,
there we
that's
go.
good we can use.
There
Kind
we
of
go.
a bomb.
Okay.
So now Connor's objective is to throw an anti-flex forehand until we get the same feel of like, yes, good one, and just see what was farther.
This is a Spirit, really, really overstable. This is what I would use to get like max distance flex forehand. Not like that's ever a shot I would choose to throw. I think it's too stable.
I think you got more in you, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come out of it!
Wow.
Here's the deal.
That's close. That's
That went-
I
further.
think it went 3 feet further.
That went farther, but it didn't have the full flight. You threw it lower and it went farther already.
Yeah.
For science sake, I'm still out here. I have 2 more opportunities with a fairway driver to try to get one out there and see. Konner threw what I felt, correct me if I'm wrong, a near perfect hyzer flip forehand.
Yeah, that was definitely the best hyzer flip forehand I could
And
throw.
then not the best anti-flex forehand you've ever thrown.
Yes, true.
And it went farther.
Yep.
We'll see if it's true for me. Ah, pull yourself together.
Yeah, that was a hyzer flip.
That might be as good
Yeah,
as I get.
that was solid.
Okay, and then we're gonna go with, that was a passion. I'm gonna go with the Captain's Raptor. Ha! They call that overstable. We're gonna try a PD and see. Ha! They call that overstable. First try here, we're gonna go with the Thunderbird anti-flex.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, those are very comparable shots.
Okay.
I am now only a forehand and lefty backhand player.
So Konner went 340 hyzer flip forehand, 345 anti-flex forehand. Myth busted that Konner can't throw forehands far.
Turns out I'm okay.
Completely different myth. We're busting multiple myths. I, on the other hand, myth busted I can throw forehands far. I went 280, 291, and I felt good about them. Not gonna lie to you. Conclusively, both of our anti-flexes went farther than our hyzer flip. Now, here's what I will say. So, that you have to go hyzer flip forehand to get distance, myth busted. Anti-flex can get you distance, and here's why I think that is. Because if I go pure distance with a backhand, and even a lot of pros, like they throw them high, but a lot of times they'll come out on a little bit of hyzer and flip. Some pros will go, you know, knife over ante. But I think that if you're ripping hyzer, I think you have a lot of power stored here, backhand, where like that's a really explosive motion, explosive movement going up on a hyzer. And then I think the disc has more time to like flip and get over. I think you can get more RPMs on a hyzer flip, I feel like, than an anhyzer. But I feel like for forehand, it's different. I think there's more distance potential down here with the hyzer flip, but I think it's harder to unlock power down here. I think a lot more power is stored up here. That feels like a much more natural throwing motion, so I think we have a lot more power up here.
Because you had to bend your body over to get down
That's
here.
just not a natural...
That's just not just a strong movement.
Yeah, it's not a natural movement we normally do, whereas like a lot of sports are up here. So I feel like up here just unlocks more power, and therefore it's easier to get a disc to go farther than down here. So, is there more distance potential in a hyzer flip? Maybe, but saying you have to throw that to throw max distance, myth busted. Final myth that we're gonna test, the most popular one of all time, is that saying nice affects a disc flight. We actually busted in a previous video. Oh yeah, nice shot, Trevor.
What the heck was that?
I guess the myth's confirmed, but we didn't do it in a scientific way. I have to come clean. It was rigged. It was rigged, and that just didn't feel right. As scientists, we felt like we need to give this a good, honest shout. So I'm gonna throw 2 shots, Konner's gonna throw 2 shots.
You're gonna need to bust out your calculators for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw 2, Konner's gonna throw 2. We're gonna say nice on one of the 2. We're not gonna say nice on the other one, and we'll just see, was the not nice shot better than the nice shot? He niced me, bro.
Oh, nice shot, man.
See,
Oh.
that one felt real to me because
I'm
I
sorry
thought
about
that was a
that.
good shot, and then he said nice and it hit the tree.
I did feel personally responsible for that.
Yeah, mine are inconclusive.
I'm gonna throw 2 hyzer flips. So
I like that.
More can go
More,
wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice shot. Oh.
Oh, you see that little kick to the left at the end?
I was trying to wait until like mid-flight, which is what I normally would say.
It was
You
like,
understand what I'm saying?
it was gonna land just like to the left, but I did see it kicked once it hit the ground and went even further
Because if
left.
I said nice shot as soon as it leave your hand, that just didn't feel real.
That felt real. It felt super natural.
Yeah, like,
Hey, you got some grass in your
you got some
beard.
grass in your beard.
How did I get grass in my beard?
I just
It's on the
noticed
left
it.
side.
I don't
There you go,
know.
it's right there.
How did this get here?
We are gonna have to measure these very closely here. Those are some groups of shots.
Yeah.
We threw some shots, that's all I gotta say. All right, verdict number 1 is in. My non-nice shot is closer to the basket, therefore a better shot than my nice shot. 1-0, nicing affecting a shot in a much more negative way. Both at the same tree, non-nice right here, nice way down there.
Here's the problem here, Hunter. My nice shot is closer,
But it's in a worse spot.
but it's in like thorns and behind a tree with a bunch of trees in between it and the basket. My not nice shot is right perfectly on the path.
Let's ask you this. Which one are you more likely to make a birdie from?
My non-nice shot. Yeah.
There you have it. 2 for 2, same result. Nice shot is worse. So when you're out on the disc golf course, wait till the disc lands. Wait till you confirm it's by the basket before you're saying nice. All right, myth confirmed.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, myth confirmed. Nicing someone does in fact make their disc go to a worse place or hit that mystical limb that we didn't see before and popped out of nowhere. We've confirmed it now. That was true science. Comment down below some other myths you'd like to see us bust in the future videos and maybe we'll bring it back. But other than that, we're the Mythbusters. We'll see you in the next one.